Wisconsin. The city was built on the western shores of Lake Michigan, where the rivers Kinnickinnic, Menominee and Milwaukee converge. The Indians called it the gathering place by the waters, and Milwaukee is still home for 10,000 American Indians. It's a place which prospered on the heavy industries of brewing and tanning, iron and steel, all established a century ago. But today Milwaukee thrives on leisure and tourism. It's a compact city. You can walk the length and breadth of the main downtown area in less than half an hour. It's a place shared by more than 50 different ethnic groups and religions. It's a centre of culture. All summer long there's a carnival atmosphere as the lakeside buzzes with music, dance and drama. And in Milwaukee they take their sport seriously too. The city is home for the Bucks, one of America's strongest basketball teams. The Green Bay Packers American football side share the facilities at County Stadium with one of the nation's top baseball teams, the Brewers. And here downtown at the Mecca Complex, it's finals day in the Ladies World Curling Championships. Hello there. Trine Trulsen of Oslo in Norway is about to play Heather Houston of Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada for the ladies' world title. Doug Maxwell is joining me to watch the game. Doug, welcome. Isn't there a terrific atmosphere? Because I think everybody is predicting a very close game.
Yes, I think it doesn't matter really who wins. You've got a lot of fans here. Curling is the big winner.
And both of these teams have a lot of experience at international level.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, they do. They've been together a long time. They've played all around the world. They played in Europe. They played in various world championships. So they're looking forward to today.
And even when the two teams met in the league games earlier in the week, it was a close-run thing, wasn't it?
6-5 was the score. Trine Trulsen won it, but with that kind of score, anything can happen.
Well, Doug, as a Canadian, I know where your allegiance lies, but let's talk a bit about the two teams first. Heather Houston is 30. She's a graphic artist, but she's a pretty quiet individual, isn't she? And that's reflected in her play.
Yes, I think it is. In fact, their whole team is a little quieter than Trine Trulsen's team, Lorraine Lang and Diane Adams and Tracy Kennedy, but they work together very well.
And of course the Canadians lost out in the final last year in Glasgow. They got the silver. That means they're very desperate for the gold this year.
Well, they don't very often get a chance. She's the first team to get a return try at the championship. She doesn't want to lose it this time.
Now, in comparison to Heather Houston, Trine Trulsen is a real extrovert, isn't she? And that is certainly reflected in her style of play, much more aggressive.
I think the same thing holds true for her team too. Dorothy Norby is really an extrovert, and just the crowd love her. And the front end, Mette Halverson and Hannah Pettersson, are equally good. So they sort of relax, and I think they've worked at that.
The team have been together for, what, 8 years now. Mm-hmm. They've played in the semi-finals of the Olympics, the semi-finals of the European, so they're pretty used to this sort of game.
They're used to the pressure, they're used to the tough ice, and this should be an excellent game.
But if Canada are desperate to win the gold, Norway are equally desperate, because in all the years of the World Championship and 11 years of the Ladies' World, Norway have yet to win it.
They want to become the first ever Norwegian team to win that world title.
Well, let's see what happens, Doug, and watch some curling. Thank you. And as we join the game, it's in the 7th end, and Norway are leading by 4-3. Norway are playing the Redstones, and our commentators are Jane Sanderson and Willie Jimison.
Heather Houston, the Canadian skip, in the head, just directing play for her third player. Lorraine Lang playing this, her first stone. Canada at the moment are lying one. Jane, they're just trying to play an in-turn draw shot round a centre guard, which is a Norwegian stone.
If they can make it right round onto the front of the forefoot, Willie, they're looking good for their two ends.
Needing a two, of course, to try and regain the advantage. They're trailing by one shot. This stone is drawing a little bit too much, though. Just going to catch the guard here. Nudges it over to the right. Well, as a second option, it's just not too bad. It's sort of a half guard, as it were, on the shot that they got there on the right-hand side. Lorraine looking quite pensive. These Canadian girls are desperate to win this title, Jane, aren't they?
Well, having lost the final last year in Glasgow, it's a second chance for them.
It really is quite remarkable that they managed to win the Canadian Championship again, to get the chance to redeem the failure of last year.
They could face a little bit of pressure here, Willie. If she makes this shot, Norway will be lying too.
Quite a difficult shot, though. Dorothy Norby in the hack. Just a few practice swings there. A unique feature of her play. Playing an out-turn takeout, trying to come round the guard and remove the Canadian counter. Calling the sweeping on straight away. Mette Halverson and Hannah Pettersson sweeping there. Oh, just a little bit tight and wrecks the guard still. removes the danger in one sense, but she really won't be pleased with that. Dodi has played a tremendous session throughout the week. She played so well for her skip. The Norwegians were top of the league table, but in this final, Jane, she's just not sparkling at all.
No, she's really the poorest player in the Norwegian team. I noticed at the end of the sixth end, Willie, the percentages had her at 43% against the Canadian three at 78%.
Which is quite a difference, really, which means that Lorraine Lang is playing approximately 8 out of 10 of her shots compared to just half and half for Norway. Lorraine Lang then, switching hands here, playing an out-turn draw round the guard, trying to lie 2 for Canada. Sweepers, Tracy Kennedy on the left and Diane Adams on the right. Not touching at all, they're shouting it's back. It means it's heavy. They wanted to stop round about there, but it's going to go across the tee line, so Heather Houston is just taking it to the back rings. Nice draw though, Jane, line 2.
Line 2. A lot of pressure on Norway now.
Well, Trine Trulsen, the Norwegian skip, doesn't seem to be in any doubt of what she wants to do here. What do you think the nomination is, Jane?
Well, there's 2 nominations here, Willie, and I'm just wondering which one she's called.
She's certainly going to strike the right hand yellow. Going for the double takeout or maybe the hit and roll?
That's just what I'm wondering.
Well, we'll see what she does in a second. In the background there we see the silver foil, which is put over the stones to try and protect them from the tremendous heat being generated by the television lights here. If the stones heat up too much, they begin to behave erratically. That's the reason for that. And this is Trina's attempted in-turn hit. Really working it hard. Looks like they're going for the hit and roll here, Jane.
It does. I think she's on the nose, yes.
Oh, well, hard lines. However, she removes one of the Canadian counters. Not looking too pleased about it, though.
Well, Canada won't be looking at that stone now, Willie. They lie 1 at the back, so they'll be drawing again to lie 2.
I got mine out there, and it was like a stayed out there for a long time. I'd have to say 23, yeah.
That's certainly the shot they're going for.
22.5.
She's going to try and put one in there,
22.
just to try and guard the draw to the back. Now, she doesn't really want to be back up there because the Norwegians could sit on top of her.
22.
It's very important that she's in front of the 4 foot here.
So as we saw with the first little indication on the telestrator there, the target is to sit in the front white circle, roughly in line with the back stone, trying to prevent the free shot from the Norwegians onto the stones behind the tee line, and also trying to prevent a direct hit for 2, or double takeout, I should say. Houston, the 30-year-old graphic artist from Thunder Bay, Ontario, playing this, her first shot on the 7th end. Again, it's looking pretty wide. Lots of weight here, Jane.
I think she's a little on the heavy side, Willie.
Well, she begins to hit the draw now. Not a bad shot, really. She's in front of the tee line, perhaps a foot or 2 ahead of the mark she wants to be. Certainly giving the Norwegian girls some trouble. I just wonder if there's enough room to come round there and take the double takeout. It's certainly about half to a third hidden, so maybe the double isn't on. Heather just calming herself at the back of the house, watching what the Norwegians are getting up to. The pressure on that girl must be immense, Jane, because the whole of the Canadian curling fraternity are hanging on her moves, waiting for a win.
She had to live with losing last year, and Canadians don't expect to lose, Willie.
No, they certainly don't. Speaking to her earlier in the week, she said that she really felt the pressure when she was at Glasgow. She felt also that they were better prepared this year, but certainly the pressure has almost doubled because of that loss. Trulsen's second stone and her last on the 7th. Trying to play a freeze onto the shot that Houston just put in there. Either a freeze or just tap it back a little, trying to make it difficult for the Canadians to remove the stone. Looking a little bit heavy, beginning to draw now though. Gets the Canadian counter and pushes it back. Okay, she lies the shot. But as we can see, there seems to be enough room to remove that red one.
There's quite a nice pull there once you pass the guard if you're at the right weight, Willie.
Okay, this way.
Well, Trine not delighted with that
Yeah, I
shot,
don't
just
think-
having a quick word with
See,
Dodi Norby.
move so late that I don't think we can chance coming across the face. Don't you think?
Just debating how to play this hit,
Well, if we play it real quiet, we'll see.
thinking that they might get round to knock it out to the right.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've got enough room for that, Jane.
It's quite tight past the guard, but I think it's possible at a barrier weight.
Well, not real tight.
Just wondering whether to play a little heavier weight to hit the right-hand side of the red or the left-hand side. This girl's not worried about that. She's line one.
If we hit half of this, I don't know if we're going to stay. No. Not unless we play regular.
Well, just worrying about staying, having hit the red stone. Asking second player Diane Adams if she can see the hole of the red stone from the player's end. Just having a look herself. This is a vital stone. Remember, Canada are one down. This is the 7th end. There are 3 ends to go. She would dearly love to score 2. There's a possibility of 3.
Hangs out for a long time right there, right? Yeah, this is the draw. So if I'm going to throw
Norwegian
bumper,
girls just relaxing, thinking of better things perhaps.
you got to watch when it takes the move, right?
You can't hit on the outside because of Jane.
I got to throw bumper because if it hangs right from the start, you got to play it the other way. Okay?
Well, that little phrase told us the story, Jane. She said, I've got to play bumper weight because if it hangs straight from the start, I've got to play it the other way. Bumper weight is a sort of normal strike weight, the sort of weight that would take the stone out and stay in quite gently. But she says she's going to play that weight because she's not too sure whether it's going to draw from right to left as you look at it. She's going to try and go for the nose of the stone on the left-hand side. If it hangs out and doesn't draw, she's going to hit the right-hand side of it. A difficult shot, really, because if she hits half right, Jane, she drives it straight back onto her own stones at the back, and Norway lie 1.
Exactly. It's a hard job for the third player here.
Well, her job, of course, is to call the sweeping in this, which will dictate the line the stone takes at the end of the day.
And there's that instant moment going up the ice where you've got to decide, are you going for the on the nose, or are you going for the left or for the right of the edge of the stone?
Let's see how she gets on. No sweeping yet. What's happening to it? It's certainly in the right-hand side. Calling the sweeping now. Really going for it. She hits it. Oh, and misses the back with a beautiful stone. Rolling to the side, but is she lying 2 or 3? It's difficult to tell. Third player's just having a look at it. There it is then. Canada count 2 to take the lead 5-4 after 7 ends.
Here.
I wish they'd made one that wouldn't make the mistakes that I make.
and me too.
Yeah.
Back to the curling, we say both these teams are very experienced at international level, but in fact it's much more difficult to get that international experience playing in the Scandinavian countries where really curling is not a big thing.
Well, it's very small in Scandinavia, particularly in Norway. Maybe only 1,500 curlers all told compared to Canada's 750,000. But if you are at the top level in Norway, you get a fair number of opportunities because there just aren't that many.
So if you win the Canadian Championship like Heather Houston has done, you've played against the best in the world, really, haven't you?
She is the first Canadian champion to repeat in a long, long time.
Good. Thanks for now. Let's go back to the curling. And after Canada got that double in the 7th end, the score is Canada 5, Norway 4, and Norway have last stone. And we rejoin the game in the 8th end, back to Willie Jimison.
Mette Halvorsen, the Norwegian lead, playing her second stone here. Just trying to remove that guard which the Canadians have put up. Norwegian girls now trailing by 1 shot, 5 shots to 4 in favour of Canada after the tremendous 2, almost 3 of course, that Canada took at the last end. Well, Heather Houston, Jane, is really taking quite an aggressive line with that guard and going to come straight round behind it.
She doesn't have last stone, so she's thinking, you know, to move it is to Norway's advantage. I might as well just attack.
Diane Adams then, a lovely shot of where she lets the stone go, trying to draw around this stone on the right. It's going to curl left to right as we look at it.
Hurry!
Houston calling the sweepers on. Look at that stone bending now.
You got room. Come on!
Got room, she says. Oh, gets round.
Come on, read up.
Pops into the top of the 12-foot there, and the Canadians love it. A beautiful shot from Diane Adams. This girl is really playing well. Well, early on in this end, the Canadians are applying the pressure, and really it's a difficulty. Norwegians now having to counter that beautiful draw from Diane. Hannah Pettersson, 28-year-old broker, the only left-hander on the rink, trying to remove the stone that second player for Canada, Diane Adams, just put in there. No sweeping. No sweeping at all. Dori Norby wanting to come, willing it across. Ooh. Jane, she really... Was she too heavy there? Did she take too much ice?
I think a little bit heavy for the ice she was given, Willie.
Of course, the harder you throw the stone, the less it draws, and, well, her expression tells its own story. That really was quite a bad miss at this stage in the game.
A little bit of pressure going on.
Well, the eighth end, of course, they don't have the advantage. They're one down. They do have last stone, but really they can't afford to miss like that because these Canadians are playing so well and are so confident that immediately they're piling the pressure on.
Mine's good.
Diane Adams then trying to play a similar shot to her first, trying to draw around her first stone.
Where?
Just watch this cut once it crosses the hog
It's
line.
really bending now.
Yeah! Come on! Hurry!
Working it hard.
Hurry!
Trying to get past the front one. Ooh, well, just clipping it now. The Canadians are lying two here, Jane, but in fact it's an opportunity for Norway.
No idea where
If she can get the tap back and roll in behind those guards, she could be sitting very well.
So really a bit unfortunate for Diane Adams. And during that shot, we heard Heather Houston shouting, "Where is it? Where is it?" She wants to know exactly what the weight was, and I think she thought it was heavier than it actually was, which is why they wrecked the front one. Pettersson trying to make up for her first mistake, trying to remove the second stone that Diane Adams put in there and trying to get a roll to the right as we look at it. Hits it, but slightly the wrong side. Rolls to the left, but counting one, killing some of the danger meantime. We have to remember, of course, that in the 10 previous finals of the Ladies World Curling Championships, Norway haven't succeeded. Canada have won 5 times. Norwegians would dearly love to do well.
They have such a super record for their men, Willie.
Well, that's right. Eigil Ramsfeld, the Norwegian skip who last year won the European title. I'm sorry, the Olympic title and the world title. But no thoughts of the men in this game. Lorraine Lang, Canadian 3. Trying to remove that Norwegian counter. Playing good weight at it. Hits it. Oh, and where's she going? Oh, she's rolling beautifully. Oh, what a fantastic shot from Lorraine Lang. Beautiful. Lying 2 counters in behind the guard there. She really could not have asked for better, Jane.
Super stone.
Isn't she looking nervous?
Okay.
We gather that Lorraine might even be carrying a 5th Canadian on the ice there.
Yes, I believe she's about 4.5 months pregnant, Willie.
Is this telling lies, little secrets?
No, I think it's common knowledge.
Oh, well.
Det bedre at jeg stopper litt foran.
Dori Norby now, just those little practice swings. Gathering her concentration.
She's quite a wee character and well liked by all the curlers.
And a very talented player. Because Lang played that superb hit and roll, the Norwegians have no option but to try and play a draw shot in to the back Canadian counter. Looking good for line here. Oh, unfortunate though, just clips the front one. Just caught a little draw at the end, the same way that Diane Adams did with her first one.
It's so hard to judge because it swings so heavily after that hog line.
Oh, Dori not pleased with that.
Yeah. These ones have been going pretty good here.
Heather Houston just giving the ice for her third player, Lorraine Lang. An out-turn hit, trying to remove that Norwegian counter. Calling the sweeping now. I should imagine them trying to hit this and roll either way here, Jane.
Yes, to move it away from the forefoot.
And they don't quite make it.
Now again, Norway have the same shot that they had earlier on.
Trying to remove the shot that Lorraine Lang just put in there and roll to the right.
I'm close to the broom with my sliders.
Men ikke så innmari mye der, gjør det det?
Well, just having a little talk about how she delivered that last stone. It's very important to keep communicating with your team members in situations like this, just to maintain the confidence level.
It's interesting to listen to the Canadians. They talk all the time.
Just pepping each other up. Well, the infamous Dodi Norby just trying to play this out-turn hit and roll. She hits one. Oh, and desperately unlucky, Jane. She was really caught in between two shots there. She was either going to take the double takeout, remove both at once, or hit one and roll to lie in front of the other. She really is having such bad luck in this game.
I felt that was a shame, Willie. It was a well-played stone with a bad result.
If they'd swept it earlier, she would have hit less of the stone and stayed in play.
Exactly.
So maybe a combination of sort of sweeping error, a bit unsure about the ice, whatever.
Which is so crucial at this standard.
Where do you even die?
Right there.
Right there?
Right, what, for that?
Yeah.
No, right there.
We need quite a bit more.
Well, I think it's going to end up in the same place regardless.
Yeah? She can go.
Well, the tactical powerhouse of the Canadian team just having a powwow about the ice there. Where do you think they're going to try and put this stone?
I assume they're going to put a guard on, but they'll need to put it fairly close up, Willie, with the swing that's on that ice.
So they're trying to put one somewhere round about the centre line to protect the two counters they've got in the circles. But the difficulty you're seeing, Jane, is just trying to gauge how much the stone is going to draw.
23 and a half.
And if you leave a long guard, it really is obsolete.
23 and a half, 23 and a half I threw at my first one, so it was top 12, so.
23 and a half. I'm farther out, so
Yeah.
I'd like to be on the center line if at all possible.
Just discussing the weight at which Heather Houston is going to throw this. They're mentioning figures, 23 and a half. That's roughly the time it takes for the stone now, from that point, to come to rest in the circles. That gives her an indication of the weight she has to throw it.
Whoa, then.
Vitally important that the sweepers know exactly what is intended with the shot, because they are in charge of the weight. They're judging it. Well, at the end of the day, they come up with a good one.
Good shot, Heather.
Really nice shot, that. Blocking the line there, quite close to the house. There's certainly no strike shot on for the Norwegians, but the draw is made more difficult for them.
But the draw is on, Willie. You can still come right round there.
Maybe Heather Houston would have preferred to have been a bit to the left of her position there.
I think so.
Well, let's see what she's going to try and do here. She's going to try and play an out-turn draw, come round the guard that's just been put there, take that line with the draw, just trying to put a stone round about there to count one. That would be an excellent shot if she made it. This is the skip of the Norwegian team that up until this point has only lost one game in the championship, which was the opening match against Britain's representative Scotland. They have played so well all week. The sweepers, Mette Halvorsen and Hannah Pettersson, just nursing the stone along. Looks good. Past the guard, beginning to bend now. Look at this. Coming in. Oh, it's a beautiful stone. Maybe just about a foot or so too far, Jane. If she'd ended up in front of the tee line, not behind it as we look at it, it would have been better. But the crowd appreciate that shot.
Yes.
A real beauty under pressure.
Super stone. Canada now have the same shot to play.
And let's remember, of course, that the Norwegians, although they're one shot down, if they took a two at this end, that would put the advantage back to them, put them one up going into the ninth and penultimate end. So the pressure on Heather Houston. Maybe it's worth remembering that at this stage in the final in Glasgow 1988, when she lost to Andrea Schupp of Germany, she was playing rubbish.
All right.
But now she's leading, she's confident.
Tough for two.
She's actually not played that well this week, Willie, but her team have been in #1 spot for third, seconds and leads.
Well, at the risk of having you thump me, I would suggest that in this game she's really turned her game on something tremendous.
I think I'd have to agree.
Okay, there's the shot she's got. Come round that yellow one in the front, try and freeze on this red one at the back. It's going to draw left to right as we look at it.
Needs it. Yep.
Bending now, look at it bend. They're going to have to work this one hard. She's got to get past this front yellow. Really powering into it. Oh, squeezes past. 3 of them working it now. Oh, and look at that, an absolute topper from Heather Houston. A beautiful shot. Well, there is absolutely no way that Norway are going to count 2 in this end, and the Canadians love it. Look at that. Aren't they daft, these Canadian curling fans?
They're great fun to be with.
Look at that, hardly a change in expression. Well, that's what championship play is all about. Pulling out shots like that under tremendous pressure.
You read that one good.
Just complimenting her third player, Lorraine. She said, you read that one good.
Jeg vet ikke om det mulig å få shotten her, vi må jo prøve.
And I can assure you that that is not Lorraine Lang's response.
I was about to ask you what your Norwegian's like, Willie.
Dreadful, thank you.
Difficult shot here.
Oh, she's really just got to play just about exactly the same shot the Canadian played, hoping to come to rest on the Canadian counter at the side of it, because the Canadian shot is in such a good position. This has to be inch perfect. Tight to the guard. Past the guard now. Well, she hits the Canadian one. Oh, but she rolls to the side slightly. Well, it looks like one shot to Canada. They take a 6-4 lead after 8 ends. Well, Canada stole one in the 8th, take a 6-4 lead. We're in the 9th now. Dodi Norby, the Norwegian third player, with her last stone. The Norwegians do have last stone, desperately looking for a 2 to tie the match up going into 10. Trying to play a strike in this left-hand Canadian counter and roll in behind the guard. She's rolling. Ooh, unlucky, not quite far enough, Jane. That's really been the story of Dodi's match.
Yes, she hasn't had the breaks at all, Willie.
If she had hit maybe 2 or 3 inches less of that Canadian stone, she would have rolled further to the right, in behind that clutter of shots that we're looking at, lying a beautiful shot and guarded.
Which would have set Norway up beautifully for a 2-end.
It really would. But as it happens, it's now an opportunity for Canada, because they can hit that Norwegian counter out and take the role that we've just described.
Time all right, Trine?
The way the end's going, Norway are going to have to use their last stone.
Well, it looks like it, but I mean, it just shows you how delicate a game curling can be. A matter of inches there. Advantage Norway, advantage Canada.
There's not bad. No, I don't want the beak.
The flags in the back of the sheet, the member nations of the International Curling Federation.
Yeah.
10 nations represented in this ladies' finals week. And at the moment, this is lady number 1, Heather Houston, Canadian skip. Trying to remove that Norwegian counter and roll to the right. No sweeping yet. She looks a little high. Hits it and rolls. Maybe a bit too far, Jane, but nonetheless a beautiful shot.
She'll settle for that, Willie.
Lying a difficult 2. Well, Trine Trulsen has only one option, just to play the in-turn draw around those guards.
She still has a chance of a 2, Willie, if she can come right round.
Heather Houston just shaking her head there, not too happy with the roll. She says, I want it to be more perfect than that. Still, she's in pretty good shape. There's the ice then. Brush held by Dodi Norby, indicating to her skip, Trine Trulsen, the line that she wants to take with this in-turn draw. Trine has been drawing so well throughout the week. It really has been the strength of her game. Lots of room here. Plenty of room to come round behind the guard, but it bends a long way. Look at it bending now, Jane.
It's been this ice all week, Willie. It's had a super draw on it.
Swinging a long way and pulling up in the forefoot, so she's counting one.
A little bit heavy. If she'd been a fraction lighter, she could have tucked right round.
Well, another almost shot from the Norwegians. It's good, though. I mean, she is lying one and she's hidden to a certain extent. It does pose a problem for Heather.
Can I see enough for now?
Just wondering if she can see enough of the shot. Overhead, it's clear that she is lying one.
Move, Heather, I can't see it.
She's trying to remove that red stone, push it back at least to the red so that the right-hand yellow is counting. Where she ends up is a different story. I don't think she wants to
look like it's running the center line at all.
replace it. She wants to hit and
Doesn't
roll
look
to the
like
left.
it's running the center line at all. It'll go right away.
I don't think it was on. Oh, yeah, maybe. Are we hiding here down here?
Yeah, well, it's curling. Like the intern's curling okay here. I want to throw regular. That's all.
Yeah, the three can go for
I'm wondering again about the ice, how much that stone is going to draw. It's vital just to ice yourself perfectly, because obviously if you throw the stone at the wrong place, it's not going to draw where you want it to. It's been a feature of this week's play, actually, that the ice conditions have been quite variable, and I think most teams have found it difficult to read what's happening.
I would have to say that I've liked the ice, Willie, from what I've seen of it.
It's behaving pretty well, but nonetheless it's still difficult, and there we see exactly what she's got to do. She can only see half of that stone. She's worried about the strike shot hanging a wee bit. Time clocks in the back, of course. The whole championship has been dictated by the time that each team is allotted to play. If they run over that time, they forfeit the game. But both teams have got plenty of time to finish this match. They've been quite sharp about their play, which has benefited spectators and players alike.
Each has been allocated, I think, 75 minutes.
I think that's right. Playing this in-turn hit then. Two-shot advantage. They can't afford to let Norway take two on them, screaming the sweepers off. It seemed to hang on that line. Beginning to bend now, though. Gets past the guard. Will she hit the red one? Oh, she takes it. And rolls to the left. A beautiful shot from Heather Houston. She's lying her two counters and really piling the pressure on the Norwegian team now. Trine Trulsen really has a difficulty. She was looking quite good to count her two there. She played a superb draw with her first, but Heather Houston comes up with a tremendous hit and roll to the side, lying two up in the game. And really, the Norwegians now simply have to make this shot, Jane. If they don't make it, they go what, 4 down into the last end? The game would be dead.
She's forced Norway to use this last stone, so Canada must be very happy in this position now.
Oh, they're looking in great shape, because even if Norway take this shot, they're going to go into the last end one up with last stone advantage.
You can't ask for more than that, Willie.
But remember, Trulsen has to make this shot for any chance to stay alive in this final. Not sweeping it. Looks good for line. Comes into the house. Again, that tremendous commander draw weight counts as very safe one. Score now 6-5 going into the last end for Canada.
Wilson, this is Jenkins. 6 months ago, our best man. Now he's working for the competition. They relocated to Trafford Park, Manchester. He moved from his London address into this. Commuting appears less of a problem. Unfortunately, his work situation is somewhat impressive. In fact, it all seems rather agreeable for Jenkins. Your job, Wilson. Get him back. Foster, this is Wilson.
Once you've seen what's up here, will you still be down there?
Enough free air miles to fly to Paris and back when you spend £200 or more on Hoover products. You know where to come.
At McDonald's, you can now get a hamburger and a regular soft drink and regular fries, all for only 99p.
But we don't sell peas.
For a limited time at participating restaurants, p not included.
Why have we stopped?
Listen to this.
A pint of Webster's!
Make that two!
And there's no need to shout!
A century ago, this city was known as the Toolbox of America, but in 1989, Milwaukee is renowned throughout the States for its hospitality. All summer long, there's a carnival atmosphere on the lakefront. And Milwaukee people are famous too for their fanatical love of sport. When the Milwaukee Brewers played their first home game of the season at County Stadium last week, 54,000 people took the day off just to see them play. Well, Doug, what I find so staggering is that they have this fantastic facility here, but American baseball is such big business that they say the facilities built in the 50s aren't good enough. They're going to pull it down and replace it with a new building at a cost of $120 million.
Well, they've already done that here as far as the Mecca is concerned. They replaced that with the Bradley Center, a private donation over $70 million just to build that one building.
Really, the facilities here in the States and in Canada too are just fantastic. Well, let's get back to the curling, because we haven't mentioned the British teams yet. There was only one British team, and that was Christine Allison playing out of East Kilbride in Scotland, and really they didn't do terribly well. They finished 7th in the league.
They finished 7th, but then the men finished in 5th spot, so that wasn't too bad for Scotland. They would desperately have liked to be in the playoffs, so they lost the tie-breaking situation, and there they were.
And incidentally, the only game that Norway lost in the league games was their opening match to Scotland, but there was a lot of talk then about the ice conditions, which weren't perfect on the opening day, were they?
Well, the ice ran into a lot of problems. They had practiced without having the heavy television lights on. When they turned those television lights on, it created a fair amount of heat. As a result, the stones got warm, the ice got soft, and boy, we were in very difficult conditions.
That's something we do forget, is that players have to adapt to different styles of play and different ice conditions.
Not only that, but the ice crew was able to get the ice back to what the players like, and we have had terrific games ever since then because it's very fast, very swingy.
Thank you, Doug. Let's go back to this one.
Okay.
So we rejoin the match for the 10th and final end, and it's still all to play for, with Canada leading by 6 shots to 5 and holding last stone advantage.
In the last end of this tense ladies final then, Tracy Kennedy playing her second hit. She missed with her first one, just trying to remove one of the Norwegian guards that's out front. Plays it beautifully, rips off the guard and rolls to the side, going out of play herself. Jane, up until this point in the match, we've seen some beautiful draw shots, some delicate tap-back shots, stones just coming round guards, a very kind of tight format of play. Now the Canadians are trying to remove everything inside. Can you explain why that is?
Oh, they have to. Norway are 1 down without last stone, so they must steal to stay alive and take the game to an extra end. So Norway are putting cover out front to come round, and Canada, of course, must clear this cover off.
So, in other words, we see Henna Pettersson here playing her first stone, and she's going to try and put one short of the house, perhaps round about that centre line that we're looking at now, in the hope that Canada either misses or hits the shot that she puts in there on the nose, thereby creating some cover for the Norwegians to come round and making it more difficult for Heather Houston to remove with her last shots.
That's correct, and they'll be perfectly happy with that stone. It's covering the 4-foot.
So the task is really quite simple for the Canadians. Heather Houston there, icing this shot for Diane Adams, her second player, just asking her to play just about the same shot we saw Tracy Kennedy playing. Hit the Norwegian guard, roll to the left. Calling the sweeping now for line. Right up hard. Right up hard, she says. Plays it well. While approaching the halfway stage and missed the last end, the Norwegian team are really going to have to find something to put pressure on the Canadians.
I suppose if all else fails, they can use that corner guard at the finish.
That's the stone on the left that we're looking at. The difficulty with that, of course, Jane, is that even if they get one round there, they leave the whole of the 4-foot exposed. That's a beautiful picture of Henna playing her second shot out towards the brush that her skipper's holding, and it'll draw right to left as we look at it. And if she's played it well, it'll end up short of the rings on the centre line, again looking for that vital cover. You mentioned the corner guard, and we were talking about that. The difficulty, as I was saying, is that even if they get a stone in behind the corner, that blue 4-foot centre is still open.
Exactly. But if Canada keep peeling the guards off, it could come down to that.
Well, Diane Adams playing her second peel on the guard, as we call it. A peel shot is one which does something like this, I think. Hits the guard and goes away. Two beautiful stones. Heather Houston would be perfectly happy to see nothing in the house before she goes to play her last shot. But she's thinking to herself, if I can control the tactics this way, I'm probably just going to be looking at one sole Norwegian stone. All I have to do then, because of my one-shot advantage, is biff it.
You make it sound so simple, Willie.
Well, it's simple from here, Jane.
Maybe at the 10th end of a world championship, it's not quite so simple.
No, certainly not for the players. It's all about mental control. This young lady has faced 365 days of regret having lost in Glasgow, and now she has the chance of a lifetime. And this young lady is trying to do something about it. Dodi Norby, who has so struggled for her form in this final. Disappointed, more than likely, that she doesn't have a more vital shot to play than a guard here. The odds stacked in favour of Canada at the moment.
You notice Norway are moving that T-guard around a little bit, just to make it, you know, give Canada a different shot to play.
The idea being, I think, Jane, that if they shift position of the guard, then they're shifting the ice that the Canadians have to give, and hopefully trying to force an error of some description.
That's correct, Willie.
Lorraine Lang trying to remove this guard, calling the sweeping this time. Really wanting to work it. She hits it and rolls, but, well, she's not out of play, and, well, maybe the Norwegians will use that one, Jane. It's covering part of the 8-foot circle.
She'll certainly use it. She might use it now, Willie. She's a double choice here, whether to put on another T-guard or whether to come right round now.
Well, those are the options you've described. She could come round behind those two on the left. It's not too good for her, though, because it still leaves the centre of the house open. And if all else failed, I'm sure Houston would be happy to try and play a draw with her last stone. But that's all they've got to work with just now. It's intriguing, isn't it, this little practice swing routine that Dodi goes through.
It's so important to do all these things, just go through your normal routine.
Tremendous determination on her face. Just calling the sweeping a little. Nursing it. Trying to come round the guard here. Okay, she plays a good one for a weight. Didn't quite get the line she wanted. She passed the guard by quite a lot. But I think she'll be, you know, half hidden, if anything. Again, not quite getting the good shot. It's so frustrating for her.
So close and yet so far.
Lorraine Lang. Husband, of course, of Rick Lang, 2 times world champion. Who played in Al Hackner's rink from Thunder Bay. Tracy Kennedy on the right, husband of Bruce Kennedy, 1-time world champion who played for Al Hackner. These Canadians monopolise this game. It's terrible. However, she's fighting for her first world title. Working this one hard. Could be wrecking in the guard. She's got to get past that front yellow, remember. Oh, squeezes it. Oh, what a tremendous shot. Oh, she's playing so well, Jane. That was fantastic pressure stuff.
Great stone, Willie.
Heather Houston just congratulating her third player there. Really good shot under pressure, that one.
Very important one, too.
And looking at it at home, it looks like every shot is really quite simple. One must remember, though, that the pressures in the 10th end, the last end of the game, are enormous, doubly so in the World Finals, so that every ounce of help that Lorraine can give to her third player, her skip rather, that's what's needed. Trine Trulsen trying to repeat that draw around the corner guard now, not touching this one at all though. Henna Patterson and Mette Halvorsen just leaving this one well alone. Oh, it looks heavy, Jane. Is this going to stay in the house? Lorraine Langen tight to sweep beyond the tee line, working hard at it. But it just hangs on at the back.
Hang in.
Oh, hang in, she says. See, my Norwegian isn't that bad. Well, it's in play, but I'm sure she won't be overjoyed with it.
I think she's just relieved that it stopped.
Well, at least she's putting some sort of pressure on Canada.
Like, I think you've got a lot, considering how far back it is.
How much you got, Di? How much can you see?
Heather Houston
Maybe
just asking her second player, Diane Adams, how much can be seen from the player's point of
We
view.
can only see a tiny, tiny bit.
Oh, there we go. She can only see a tiny, tiny bit. Which eliminates one shot for her, Jane. She reckons it would be too risky to try and hit that one out in case she missed it.
She's just going to play the draw to the front of it.
thirsty?
Or try and play a really tight draw around those guards lying in front of the tee. Well, that's a close-up shot of how it looks for the Norwegian stone.
24.
Here we hear them again discussing time.
23 is T-line.
23.
Diane Adams is the master of these things, I think. She just says to Heather, if you play a stone round about 23 seconds, that would be fine. Heather's saying she doesn't want to come to the back of it. All she wants to do is to play the straight draw, tight to the guard, on the tee line.
Lots of room.
Sweepers onto it, but Heather says lots of room.
Lots of room. Lots of room. It's
This
gotta
looks
be
a
there,
little better though,
guys.
Jane.
It's good.
It's looking awfully good, Willie.
Lots of room. Lots of room.
Oh, past the guard by a lot. Will it draw now at the end?
Yes.
Just working it in. And in front of the tee line. That's really so important. An excellent shot. Now it's a question now of how the Norwegians are going to deal with this one.
Well, she can't draw to it because she wouldn't be shot, so she's going to have to move it.
She probably has enough room to play a delicate tap-back shot to remove the yellow from play and roll over and lie too. Well, they don't seem to be going for that one. Doddy just saying freeze it or tap it back a wee bit. My Norwegian improves by the moment.
I'm impressed.
I'm glad someone is. Trine Trulsen then playing her last stone in the 10th end of this final. On the side we see Heather Houston anxiously prowling around the back of the house. Tension really is mounting in this match. Comes in, taps the yellow, can she take it out? Ooh.
I think she'll be disappointed with that, Willie.
Well, she is shot, Jane, but it leaves Heather Houston the simplest of shots.
And she doesn't even have to stick.
I was trying to figure out how I could throw an intern, that's all.
She would prefer to play the intern shot here, but she wants to try and hit this one on the nose.
Play the beak, okay?
There's a
You don't
danger
wanna roll and hit that one out.
if she doesn't do that, of course. If she hits this one on the side, on the left-hand side as we look at it, there's a possibility of rolling out here and splitting away her own counter at the back, leaving the red stone at the back counting one. So she can't afford just to hit this any old way, Jane. It's got to be right on the nose.
True. But at the worst, it's an extra end, Willie, which takes a little bit of pressure off.
Yeah. The girls just having a chat with each other. Hit the broom, hit the weight.
We got second shot, eh?
Hit the beak, hit everything. Just for goodness sake, win. So this is it for Heather Houston, a chance to pick up the title. A regular strike weight shot. On-off sweeping, it's always a good sign. Oh, look at the expression, she's done it. She has buried the ghost of Glasgow. Canada, the 1989 Ladies World Curling Champions. What a fantastic and emotional victory for this team from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Well done, Heather Houston.
Exciting end to the final, Doug. Second time round, second time lucky for Heather Houston of Canada.
I don't think that was luck. That was some great curling by both teams. A fabulous, fabulous game.
And that means that the ladies' world title goes back to Canada for the 6th time in the 11-year history of the competition. But that was a terrific final, above all for the spectators.
It was a great game for everybody. That's what curling is all about. That is the kind of curling you like to see, both as a player and as a spectator.
Such disappointment, though, for the Norwegians. They have to settle for the silver, still eluding by the gold.
Oh, listen, that silver medal will be very nice. It was lost and won in true fashion. They're two great teams. I loved every minute of it.
And the bronze, of course, is shared between last year's holder, Andrea Schipp of Germany, and Annette Norberg of Sweden. Well, that's all from this year's World Curling Championships in Milwaukee, but next year's competition is being held right across the Atlantic in the city of Västerås in Sweden. Right now, though, from Doug Maxwell, myself, and all the team here in Wisconsin, bye-bye.
And as the ladies leave the ice, I hope they and you will stick around to see fair play next, and the conflict between family life and sporting excellence.
There's a place that's just enjoyed its most successful year ever.
Do you know what it's called?
A place where jobs are created at a rate of 8 every day.
Do you know what it's called?
A place where 77 distribution companies know the value of its excellent communications.
Do you know what it's called?
Cumbernauld, a new generation.
As you might expect, Virgin Atlantic have a rather different view of corporate man from many of their older competitors, which is why their business class is not your business-as-usual class. They give you 2 tickets for a start. The economy one's free. The in-flight service is even more of a departure, with the highest ratio of cabin staff per passenger.